4. You make $100K. You're still broke. Here's exactly why. Stop. Don't skip this. You're not broke because you earn less. You're broke because you earn $100K. Open your bank account right now. Look at the balance. 4. Does that number match the salary you tell people about? Because if you're making six figures, that's $8,333 every single month before taxes, and your savings account has less than $10,000 in it right now. This is not bad luck. 4. This is not a spending problem. This is a system problem, and I'm going to break it down to the exact dollar, so you see precisely where your money is going, exactly what it's costing you in real numbers, 4, and exactly what you need to do to stop it. Starting this month, by the end of this video, you're going to realize something uncomfortable. You're not building wealth, you're financing a lifestyle, 4. And the difference between those two things over the next 1,010 years is not $10,000. It's not $50,000. It is closer to $500,000. And I'm going to show you the math. Marcus, let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus is 31, 4. Project manager at a tech company. $102,000 salary. From the outside, Marcus looks like he's winning. His parents are proud. His friends think he's doing great. He drives a 2022 Honda, lives in a clean apartment in a nice part of the city, 4. Eats out 3 or 4 times a week, takes 2 vacations a year, and has a decent wardrobe. Here's the reality behind that picture. Marcus has $4,200 in savings. Marcus feels that familiar tightening in his chest, that low-grade financial anxiety that never fully goes away, even when the paycheck lands. Marcus is not careless. Marcus is not irresponsible. Marcus is not dumb, 4. Marcus just never learned what actually happens to money at this income level. Nobody taught him. And that gap in knowledge, not in effort, not in discipline, not in character, is costing him a fortune. 4. Here's the number that should genuinely bother you. If Marcus had invested just $1,000 a month starting at age 25, 6 years ago, into a basic S&P 500 index fund, he would have approximately $112,000 right now. Instead, that is a $100,000 gap, not a small rounding error. Not a minor difference, or $100,000. Not because Marcus spent it on something crazy, but because of 3 specific decisions he is repeating every single month without fully understanding what they're costing him. 4. Marcus is not a cautionary tale. Marcus is most $100K earners. If any part of his story sounds familiar, if that chest tightening sounds familiar, good, because that means we can fix it, together, right now. 4. With real numbers and real actions, the real number $100,000 gross salary. Sounds great. Here's what you actually take home. Federal income tax at your bracket, approximately $17,400. Or state income tax, depending on where you live, between $3,000 and $9,000. We'll use $5,000 as a middle estimate, Social Security and Medicare combined, $7,650. Or health insurance premiums, if your employer doesn't fully cover them, average $200 to $500 a month. Call it $3,600 a year. Do the math. $100 minus $17,400 minus $5,000 minus $7,650 minus $3,600. Your actual take-home, or approximately $66,350 a year. That is $5,529 a month, not $8,333. Not $100,000 divided by 12, not 6 figures. $5,529. That is your real operating number, or every financial decision you make has to start from that number. Not your salary, not your gross income, not the number on your offer letter. Now let's build your real monthly budget, or the one that most people never actually sit down and confront. Average rent for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in a mid-size US city. The kind that fits a $100K lifestyle. $1,800 to $2,400 a month. Let's say $2,000. Or car payment on the vehicle most $100K earners drive, something in the $35,000 to $45,000 range, financed over 60 to 72 months, $550 to $750 a month. Add insurance, $150 to $250. Transportation total, $800. Groceries, $400. Or utilities and subscriptions, Netflix, Spotify, gym membership, Amazon Prime, iCloud, Hulu, maybe a meal kit. Easily $350 a month. Most people genuinely cannot name every subscription they're currently paying for. Let's say $350. Or student loans, the national average payment is $460 a month. Let's include it. We are already at $4,010 a month, out of $5,529. You have $1,519 left before eating out, before a drink with friends, before a haircut, before gas, or before anything breaks. Before the work trip you had to expense. Before your friend's wedding, gee, where are you in the wedding party? before anything real actually happens in your life. This is not a budgeting problem, or this is a structural problem. And every single month you don't address the structure, the gap gets wider. Who's the single largest wealth decision most people ever make is their housing, and most people make it based on one thing: what a bank is willing to lend them. Which is the worst possible benchmark you could use? E-banks approve you based on your gross income, the $8,333 number, not the $5,529 you actually take home. They don't care whether you build wealth. They care whether you make the payment, the result. Most $100 K earners spend 35% to 45% of their actual take-home on housing. Let me translate that into real money. Wealth building threshold for housing, 25% of take-home. For you, that is $1,382 a month. Most people at this income level are spending $2,000 to $2,400. Let's say $2,200. That is $818 a month, above the threshold $9,800 a year. Invested at historical market returns over 10 years. That single gap is worth approximately $168,000. Your apartment is not just expensive. It is costing you $168,000 over the next decade, and the fix is not always moving. Sometimes it's a roommate. Sometimes it's negotiating your lease renewal, which works more often than people think. Sometimes it's an honest conversation about whether the neighborhood genuinely justifies the number. But if you don't calculate this exact figure for your specific situation, you are making this decision completely blind every single month. I've put together a simple calculator and a full breakdown of your housing options in the links below. 4 minutes. The number it shows you will change how you see your rent or mortgage permanently. The car this one is painful because cars feel necessary, and they often are. But the car you chose, and specifically how you chose to pay for it, may be the single most financially destructive decision in your current life. Here is the math on a completely common scenario. You financed a $42,000 vehicle, 72-month loan at 7% interest, completely normal in today's rate environment. Your monthly payment, $651. Over the life of the loan, you pay $46,872 total. The car, by the time it's paid off in 6 years, is worth somewhere between $14,000 and $18,000. You paid $46,872 for something worth $16,000. That is a $30. Zeros in loss baked directly into the decision you made at the dealership before you drove off the lot. Now add insurance. A newer financed vehicle requires full coverage. Average for a $40,000 vehicle, $200 to $280 a month. Let's say $230. Total monthly transportation cost, $651 plus $230. That is $881 a month, $10,572 a year on a depreciating asset losing value every single day you drive it. You didn't buy a car, you signed a 6-year wealth destruction contract. Now compare that to someone who buys a reliable $18,000 used vehicle and invests the $600 monthly difference instead. Over 10 years, that one decision builds approximately $147,000. One decision, $147,000. That is what your car is actually costing you. Not the sticker price. Not the monthly payment. $147,000 in wealth you are not building because of a single afternoon at a dealership. There are useful links below that break down exactly how to calculate your real transportation cost and what your options look like. Check them out after this video. Investing. This is the decision that determines everything else. And it is the one most $100 K earners get completely backwards. The standard approach. Earn a paycheck, pay bills, spend on life, invest whatever is left. The result, for almost every person without exception, nothing is ever left. Because spending expands to fill available income. Every time. This is not a character flaw. It is human psychology. Your brain normalizes current spending and always wants slightly more. Willpower-based investing rarely works long-term. The approach that actually builds wealth is completely different. Earn a paycheck. Automatically move a fixed percentage to investments the same day it lands. Live on what remains. No decision required. No discipline required. Just a system running quietly in the background. Let's run the numbers. 15% of your $5,529 take-home is $829 a month. Automatically invested into low-cost index funds on payday, untouched. For 20 years at a conservative 8% average annual return. That is $492,000. 20% is $1,105 a month. Same timeline, same return, $656,000. The people who retire with real wealth are not the people who made the most money. They are disproportionately the people who automated their investing early and never touched it. That is the entire mechanism. There is no secret beyond that. And here is what makes this urgent. Every year you delay this, or you don't just lose 1 year of contributions. You lose the compound growth on everything that money would have generated for the rest of the timeline. Delaying by 3 years on $1,000 a month does not cost you $36,000. Or it costs you over $180,000 in final portfolio value. That is the real price of waiting. Setting this up correctly takes about 25 minutes if you know exactly what you're doing. Or I've linked a full step-by-step guide below. Brokerage account, fund selection, automation setup, everything in plain language, no finance background required. Click the links below and start there. Or the lifestyle trap here is what happens when your income rises and nobody teaches you what to do with it. You get the raise. Within 90 days, your fixed expenses quietly inflate to absorb most of it. Nicer apartment, better car, or more dinners out, more subscriptions, more of everything. And within 6 months, you feel the same as you did at your previous salary, except now you have more expensive obligations that are harder to undo. This is lifestyle inflation. And it is the mechanism by which the financial system quietly extracts wealth from high earners, not through obvious theft, but through the slow, invisible expansion of monthly obligations that feels like progress while it's happening. Here is what makes it particularly dangerous at your income level. You earn enough to afford the expensive thing. You don't earn enough to easily recover from choosing it consistently. Every advertiser, every lender, every car dealership, or every luxury apartment complex is specifically targeting people at your income level. They know your salary range. They know your spending patterns, or they know exactly what image to sell you and exactly what financing terms will feel manageable. They are not selling products. They are selling identity. A version of yourself that looks successful, feels arrived, and seems worthy of the good things. And you are paying for that identity monthly, on subscription, on 72-month financing terms, while the actual wealth that would make you genuinely secure stays permanently out of reach. The antidote is not deprivation. The antidote is clarity, knowing exactly what each decision costs you in future wealth, and making the choice consciously with full information, rather than by default, no vague advice. Exact steps. Day 1, calculate your real monthly take-home. Not your salary, not your gross, what actually hits your bank account. If you don't know this number precisely, you cannot fix anything. Start there. Day 2, list every fixed monthly cost. Housing, car, insurance, every subscription, every loan payment. Add them up and divide by your take-home. Above 65% means you have a structural problem. And the fix is not canceling Netflix. The fix is addressing a major line item, housing, transportation, or debt, with a real structural change. Week 1, set up an automatic investment transfer for the day after your payday. Not savings. An investment account in low-cost index funds. The amount should feel slightly uncomfortable. If it feels easy, you are investing too little. Month 1. Build the 4 skills that multiply wealth at your income level. Tax strategy. Index investing. Debt payoff sequencing. Income growth. Learnable skills. Not complicated. But they need to be learned in the right order practically, with real numbers and real actions. Everything you need to get started is in the links below. Tools, guides, calculators, and a full system built specifically for people at this income level. Click the links below this video and start with whatever feels most urgent right now. Here's what I want to say directly. You just did something most people never do. You looked at the real numbers. You saw exactly where the money goes. You saw exactly what the decisions are costing you in real dollars. That is genuinely the hardest part of this entire process. And you already did it. Most people watch a video like this, feel that uncomfortable tightening in the chest for a few hours, and then let it fade because nothing is immediately on fire. The paycheck is still coming, the lights are still on, but you now know what that waiting actually costs. 1 year of delayed investing at $1,000 a month does not cost you $12,000. It costs you over $60,000 in final portfolio value due to lost compound growth. Every 30 days you wait, that number grows. Quietly, permanently, invisibly. Marcus waited. Not because he was lazy, because nobody showed him the map. You have the map now. The links below have everything you need to execute. Calculators, step-by-step guides, and tools to get your system set up today. Not next week. Today you already did the hard part, the rest is just execution. One final thing, the average American retires with $87,000 in total savings. Not $870,000, $87,000. 3 to 5 years of expenses. And then Social Security, which currently pays an average of $907 a month, has to carry the rest. A significant number of those people made decent money during their working years. Some made $100K, or some made more. They were not irresponsible people. They were people who never built the right system. And by the time they realized it, the compound growth window was mostly closed. That is the road you are currently on. Not because you're failing, but because the road itself leads there if you don't deliberately change direction. You now know exactly what's wrong. You know the numbers. You know the decisions. You know the system. The links are below.